Hey Gemini, come sit down for a moment, because what I am about to share with you today is something that God has been revealing to me through the cards, and I feel this overwhelming sense that you need to hear this message right now. I have been praying over your situation, and the energy that came through is so powerful that I actually had to take a step back and just breathe, because God is truly working in your life in ways you might not even realize yet. So here's what happened. I sat down with my deck this morning, and I asked God to show me what my Gemini family needs to understand about deception, about truth, about karma, and divine justice. And let me tell you, the cards that came through were not coincidental. Nothing is ever coincidental when God is involved. The theme that emerged is one of the most profound lessons about cosmic justice and how the universe, guided by the divine hand, always brings balance back into our lives. The title that keeps echoing in my spirit is this: The Deceiver will be deceived tenfold. Now I want you to really sit with that for a second. Tenfold, not just a little bit, not just equally, but 10 times the deception that was given out will come back. And Gemini, this reading is not just about someone else who deceived you. This is also a mirror. This is God asking you to examine your own heart, your own actions, your own truth, because the divine does not play favorites. The law of karma, the principle of reaping what you sow, it applies to everyone, including us. Before I dive into these cards, I want you to understand something crucial. Tarot is not fortune-telling in the way people think. These cards are a tool that God uses to communicate with us, to show us the spiritual lessons we need to learn, to reveal the path He is laying out before us. Every image, every symbol, every number on these cards carries divine wisdom. And today, God pulled 3 specific cards for you that tell a complete story about deception, resilience, and ultimate hope. I am going to walk you through each card slowly because there is so much depth here. I want you to really feel the message that is coming through for you. And as I share this with you, I want you to ask yourself, where in my life have I been deceived? Where in my life have I been the deceiver? And most importantly, what is God trying to teach me through all of this? Let me start by pulling the first card, and my Gemini friend. When this card came out, I actually felt chills run down my spine, because the timing of this is absolutely divine. The first card that came through is the 3 of Wands, and I need you to understand the depth of what God is showing you here. The 3 of Wands is traditionally a card about expansion, about looking toward the horizon, about waiting for your ships to come in. You see this figure standing on a cliff, looking out at the vast ocean, watching 3 wands planted firmly in the ground, and there are ships in the distance coming toward shore. This is a card about vision, about planning, about patience and anticipation. But here is where it gets really interesting for you, Gemini, especially with this theme of deception. God is showing me that you have been standing on your cliff. You have been watching the horizon. You have been waiting for something or someone to come through for you. Maybe it was a promise someone made. Maybe it was a business deal. Maybe it was a relationship where someone told you they were all in and you believed them. You planted your wands in the ground. You did your part. You showed up with faith and expectation, and you have been watching those ships come closer and closer. But here is the thing that God wants you to see. Not all ships that appear to be coming toward you are carrying what you think they are carrying. Some of those ships that look like they are bringing you treasure, they are actually bringing you lessons. Some of those ships that you thought were your ships, they belong to someone else entirely. And this is where the deception comes in. Someone has made you believe that their ship was yours. Someone has made you invest your time, your energy, your hope, your trust into something that was never meant to be yours in the first place. God is revealing to me that there has been a level of manipulation in your situation where someone knew exactly what they were doing. They saw you standing there with your vision, with your hope, with your pure heart, and they used that against you. They made promises they had no intention of keeping. They painted pictures of a future that they knew was never going to happen. They kept you waiting, kept you hoping, kept you invested while they were off doing their own thing, probably making the same promises to other people. And Gemini, I know this hurts. I know it feels like you wasted time. I know it feels like you are foolish for believing. But God wants you to understand something critical here. You were not foolish. You were faithful. There is a huge difference. You are operating from a place of integrity, from a place of trust, from a place of genuine intention. The fact that someone else chose to operate from deception says everything about them and nothing about you. The Three of Wands is also about foresight and planning. And here is where the tenfold principle starts to come into play. Whoever deceived you, whoever made you wait while they played games, whoever used your hope as a tool for their own benefit, they think they got away with it. They think they are clever. They think they won. But God is showing me through this card that what they do not see is that their OWN ships are coming in. And those ships are not carrying rewards. Those ships are carrying consequences. The universe is already in motion. Divine justice is already being served, and they are about to receive back exactly what they put out, multiplied. Because here's how spiritual law works. When you deceive someone, when you manipulate someone, when you play with someone's genuine heart and emotions, you are essentially sending out ships of your own. You are putting energy into the world, and that energy has to come back to you. It is not punishment. It is simply balance. It is simply the universe restoring order. And in this case, because the deception was so calculated, because it was so intentional, because it involved playing with someone's real feelings and real hope, the return is going to be amplified. God is also showing me through the Three of Wands that you are being repositioned right now. While you were waiting for those false ships to come in, while you were being deceived, God was actually preparing something completely different for you. He was using that waiting period to build your character, to strengthen your discernment, to teach you about your own worth. And now that the deception has been or is being revealed, God is turning you around. He is showing you a different horizon. He is saying, stop looking at those ships that were never yours. Turn around and look at what I am actually bringing to you. The lesson of the Three of Wands, in this context, is about learning to trust divine timing over human promises. It is about learning to discern between what looks good and what is good. It is about understanding that your vision, your dreams, your goals, they are all still valid. They are all still coming to fruition, but maybe not in the way you thought, and definitely not through the people you thought. God is clearing out the deceivers from your path because He has something real coming for you. And those false ships needed to be revealed for what they were, so you would not waste any more time waiting for them. I want you to pray about this Three of Wands energy. I want you to ask God to show you clearly where you have been deceived, where you have been made to wait unnecessarily, where someone has used your hope against you. And then I want you to ask Him to show you where He is actually leading you, what the real horizon is, what the real promise is. Because Gemini, your ships are coming in, but they are God's ships, not the cheap imitations that someone else tried to sell you. Now let me pull the second card, because this is where the story gets even more intense. And honestly, when this card came out, I felt the weight of it in my chest. The second card is the Nine of Wands, and oh, Gemini. God is speaking directly to your resilience right now, to your strength, to the fact that you are still standing even after everything you have been through. The Nine of Wands shows a figure who is clearly wounded, bandaged, holding on to a wand, and standing in front of 8 other wands that are lined up like a barrier or a fence. This person looks tired. This person looks like they have been through battle. But this person is still standing. This person has not given up. This person is still guarding their territory, still protecting what matters, still holding their ground. And this is you right now. This is exactly where you are in your journey. You have been through the deception. You have realized that someone played you. You have felt the betrayal, the disappointment, the anger, the hurt. You have every wound that comes from trusting someone who did not deserve your trust. And yet, here you are, still standing, still showing up, still fighting for your life, for your truth, for your future. And God sees that. God sees your strength. God sees that you did not let the deception destroy you. But here is what God wants you to understand about the Nine of Wands in this situation. You are in a defensive position right now, and that makes total sense given what you have been through. When someone deceives you, your natural response is to put up walls, to become guarded, to protect yourself from being hurt again. Those 8 wands standing in front of you, they represent the boundaries you have put up, the lessons you have learned, the new level of discernment you now carry. And those boundaries are good. Those boundaries are healthy. Those boundaries are necessary. However, and this is important, God is also showing me that you cannot stay in this defensive position forever. The Nine of Wands is the second to last card in the suit, which means you are almost at completion. You are almost through this cycle. But there is still one more step to take. You are still holding on to the pain of the deception. You are still carrying the wounds. You are still looking over your shoulder, waiting for the next person to betray you. And while that vigilance has protected you, it is also keeping you from moving forward into the fullness of what God has for you. The tenfold principle shows up in the Nine of Wands in a really interesting way. God is revealing to me that while you are standing there, wounded but strong, guarded but resilient, the person who deceived you is actually setting themselves up for their own Nine of Wands moment, except theirs is going to be so much worse. See, you went through your battle because someone else chose to attack you, to deceive you, to hurt you. You are wounded from defending yourself against someone else's malicious actions. But the person who deceived you, they are about to enter their OWN battle. Except they are going to be fighting against the consequences of their own choices. They are going to find themselves in a Nine of Wands position where they are exhausted, where they are wounded, where they are barely hanging on. But it will be because they created that situation for themselves. They deceived you and probably others. They manipulated situations. They lied. They played games. And all of that is about to catch up with them in a way that leaves them completely depleted. And here is the tenfold part. While you had to defend yourself against one deceiver, they are going to have to defend themselves against everything they put out into the world coming back to them at once. Multiple people they deceived. Multiple situations they manipulated. Multiple lies catching up with them. It is going to be overwhelming for them in a way that what you experienced was painful but manageable. Because you had God on your side. God is also showing me through this Nine of Wands that He is so proud of you for not retaliating, for not seeking revenge, for not becoming a deceiver yourself in response to being deceived. You could have. You could have decided to play the same games. You could have decided to hurt them back. You could have decided to become bitter and hard and start treating everyone with suspicion and manipulation. But you did not. You stayed true to yourself. You maintained your integrity. You kept your heart soft even though it was broken. And that is why God can trust you with the blessing that is coming. That is why God can elevate you. Because you passed the character test. The Nine of Wands is also telling you that the battle is almost over. The worst is behind you. The deception has been revealed. The person has been exposed or is in the process of being exposed. The lesson has been learned. Now it is time to start lowering those walls just a little bit. not to let in people who have not earned your trust, but to let out the bitterness, the resentment, the pain. You need to release what happened, so it does not become who you are. You need to forgive, not for their sake, but for yours, so that you can move into the 10 of Wands completion, and then beyond into a whole new cycle. Pray about this 9 of Wands energy. Gemini. Pray for the strength to keep standing, but also for the wisdom to know when it is time to put down your defensive weapons. Pray for healing from the wounds of deception. Pray for the ability to trust again, wisely, with discernment, but still with an open heart. And pray for the person who deceived you, because honestly, what is coming for them is going to be heavy, and while they earned it through their own actions, it is never joyful to watch someone suffer the consequences of their choices. And now, the final card, the card that brings this whole message together. The card that shows you where all of this is leading and why God allowed you to go through this experience. The third card is the Star and Gemini. When I pulled this card, I literally felt tears in my eyes, because this is God saying, I see you, I have not forgotten you, and hope is coming back into your life in the most beautiful way. The Star card shows a beautiful figure kneeling by water, pouring water from 2 jugs, one into the water and one onto the land, with a huge bright star shining above and smaller stars surrounding it. This is a card of hope, of healing, of renewal, of divine guidance, of answered prayers. After the deception of the 3 of Wands, after the battle and wounds of the 9 of Wands, God is bringing you to the Star. He is bringing you to a place of peace, of clarity, of restored faith. The Star is the light at the end of the tunnel. The Star is the promise that better days are coming. The Star is God saying, you went through hell, but I never left you, and now I am going to restore everything that was stolen from you and more. The figure in the Star is naked, which represents vulnerability, authenticity, being completely yourself without pretense or protection. And this is what God is calling you back to. The deception made you want to hide. The betrayal made you want to put on armor. The hurt made you want to close off your heart. But God is saying, it is safe to be yourself again. It is safe to be vulnerable again. It is safe to hope again. Not with just anyone, not foolishly, but in the right situations, with the right people, under my guidance. The water being poured represents the flow of emotions, the flow of blessings, the flow of spiritual nourishment. 1 jug pours into the water, which is the subconscious, the emotional realm, representing emotional healing and the restoration of your ability to feel deeply without fear. The other jug pours onto the land, which is the physical realm, representing tangible blessings, real opportunities, actual manifestations of the promises God has made to you. This is not just spiritual feel-good energy. This is real results coming into your life. And here is where the tenfold principle reaches its climax in this reading. While the person who deceived you is about to receive back tenfold the negativity they put out, you are about to receive tenfold the blessings you deserve. God is not just going to restore what you lost during the time you were being deceived. He is not just going to give you back the time, the energy, the hope that was wasted. He is going to multiply it. He is going to give you opportunities that are 10 times better than what that person promised you. He is going to bring people into your life who are 10 times more genuine than the person who lied to you. He is going to open doors that are 10 times bigger than anything you are waiting for. This is the justice of God. This is divine balance. The deceiver gets back their deception multiplied, and the faithful one gets back their faith multiplied. You stayed true. You stayed kind. You stayed hopeful, even when it was hard. And God saw all of that. Every tear you cried, He collected. Every prayer you prayed, He heard. Every moment you chose integrity over revenge, He noted. And now He is saying, your reward is coming, and it is going to be abundant. The star also represents a direct connection to the divine. That big bright star is God's light shining on you, illuminating your path, showing you the way forward. The smaller stars represent guidance, support, angels, ancestors, spiritual helpers, all surrounding you and cheering you on. You are not alone. You have never been alone. Even in the darkest moment of the deception, even when you felt completely betrayed and abandoned, God was right there with you, and He was already working on your behalf, already setting up the dominoes that would lead to your breakthrough. God wants you to know through the star that your faith is about to be restored in a major way. Whatever the deception took from you, in terms of your ability to trust, your ability to believe in good things, your ability to hope for the future, it is all coming back to you purified and strengthened. You are going to be able to trust again, but this time with wisdom. You are going to be able to believe again, but this time with discernment. You are going to be able to hope again, but this time with the confidence that comes from having survived disappointment and come out stronger. I also want you to notice that in the star card, everything is calm. The water is still. The night is peaceful. The energy is serene. After all the chaos of deception, after all the battle of defending yourself, God is bringing you into a season of peace, a season where you can finally breathe, a season where you can finally rest, a season where you can finally just be without constantly looking over your shoulder or wondering who is going to betray you next. The star is also a card of inspiration and creativity. God is going to use everything you went through with this deception as fuel for your next chapter. The lessons you learned, the strength you gained, the wisdom you acquired, all of it is going to serve you in ways you cannot even imagine yet. You might inspire others with your story. You might help someone else who's going through something similar. You might create something beautiful out of the pain. God wastes nothing. Every experience, even the painful ones, especially the painful ones, He uses for your good, and His glory. So here is what I want you to take away from this entire reading, my dear Gemini. The person who deceived you, they set something in motion that they cannot stop. The universe is going to bring back to them everything they did to you and to others multiplied. That is not your job to make happen. That is not your responsibility to orchestrate. That is God's job, and He is very good at His job. Your job is to heal, to release, to forgive, to move forward. Your job is to stay in your integrity, to keep your heart open, to continue being the authentic, beautiful soul that you are. Your job is to prepare yourself for the blessing that is coming, because the star promises you that it is coming, and it is coming big. I want to close this reading with a prayer for you. God, I lift up my Gemini friend to you right now. I thank you for protecting their heart, even in the midst of deception. I thank you for keeping them standing, even when they were wounded. I thank you for the promise of restoration and blessing that you have spoken over their life through the star. I ask that you heal every wound that the betrayal caused. I ask that you restore their ability to trust, to hope, to believe in good things. I ask that you bring divine justice to the situation, not out of revenge, but out of your perfect will and order. And I ask that you prepare them for the abundance, the opportunities, the genuine connections that you are about to bring into their life. Let them feel your presence. Let them see your hand at work. Let them know without a doubt that you are with them, and that you have amazing things in store for their future. In your holy name, Amy. If this reading resonated with you, if you felt the presence of God in these words, if you are claiming the blessing of the star over your life, drop a comment and let me know. I am praying for every single one of you. Remember, the deceiver will be deceived tenfold, but the faithful will be blessed tenfold. Stay strong, stay true, and keep your eyes on God, because your breakthrough is closer than you think.